What if I told you that you can create one color pattern that you can reuse for any sewing pattern? In this video, I will show you how. I find having multiple sewing patterns that essentially does the same thing quite frustrating. And since my wardrobe mostly consists of shirts and shirt dresses, having just one pattern for the collar and collar stand is quite critical to reduce the clutter. For the last 10 years, I have sewn mostly from self-drafted patterns. So let me help you declutter by showing you how to draft one collar pattern that you can reuse for any sewing project, whether you're using a self-drafted pattern or a pattern that you have bought. To be fair, I don't even know why I'm keeping all those patterns. It's not like I've got plenty of space. After all, I live in the UK. Let's start by looking at the various parts of the collar. A shirt collar consists of two parts, a collar stand and a collar piece. The stand is a bridge between the shirt and the collar and requires the most attention. The dimensions of the collar are less relevant here, but there are some important details that you need to pay attention to. I will explain them later in the video. If you were wondering, this shirt is an outcome of a mini-series on how to draft and sew your own shirt. I am sharing the whole sewing pattern drafting and the construction stage for the shirt here on my YouTube channel. Alright, let's start drafting. Today we have to create two patterns, one for the collar and one for the collar stand, and we're going to start with a collar stand pattern because arguably it's the most important part of the whole shirt collar construction, despite it being practically invisible. Think of it as a foundation for the house. You cannot see it, but it is there, and without it the house wouldn't stand. The same applies for the collar. Well, you get the picture. Start by measuring the neckline on the basic bodice block. It does not matter which bodice pattern you're using here, but I would recommend starting with a basic close-fitting pattern as opposed to a pattern for a loose garment. Although it does not really make a difference. It is just as easy to adjust the collar down later. The key here is that the base pattern doesn't have the button stand, extension or seam allowances included when you're measuring the neck circumference. I'm using a self-drafted close-fitting bodice block. You can check out my drafting tutorial for it if you wanted to use the same pattern as me. When you're measuring the length of the neckline, make a note of the length of the back neckline. Draw a rectangle that is your half neckline circumference and around 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch high. The height can be an exact measurement on your body if you have specific requirements. As a rule of thumb, 2.5 or 1 inch will work great in most cases. Now mark your half back neck measurement. This is your shoulder mark. This is not a completed pattern. To avoid collar gaping at the neck, you need to reduce the collar roll line measurement. You can either make cuts in your rectangle and overlap to get the measurement closer to your neck circumference and then trace the pattern, or alternatively, lift the center front up by 2.5 centimeters, connecting the new center line with the shoulder marks and smoothing out the curves. For this method, you will need to remeasure the length of the collar stand and adjust it if necessary. You can round up the top corner like I've done it here, but in hindsight, it actually makes life easier later on if you keep it square. I suggest tracing the resulting pattern on a sturdier cardstock, as you will be reusing it time and time again. This will ensure the longevity of the base pattern. This collar stand pattern you can reuse for any sewing project where you need just a collar stand without the full shirt collar. Later in the video I'll show you how to adjust it for different neck measurements. Now let's look at how to pair the collar stand with a collar for that classic shirt pattern. Start by tracing the collar stand pattern. As my collar stand was rounded, I needed to reintroduce that square corner. Then draw a collar baseline. Using a protractor, measure the angle of the collar stand and mark a matching angle above the collar baseline. This might look a little tricky, but don't sweat it too much. It is just a starting point and we will adjust it later. The precision is not that important here. Treat it like a warm-up on how to use protractor in the later step. Square out from the collar. Then trace a reversed collar stand base. This will make the collar match up perfectly with the collar stand. Mark collar fall widths at the center front line. I like my collar fall to be 5 to 6 centimeters wide, or slightly more than 2 inches, but you can go with whatever width you want, as long as it's at least 1 centimeter wider than your collar stand. Squaring out helps to keep the collar point perfectly shaped. Mark several points that correspond with a chosen collar fall before connecting them all up with a smooth line, keeping the center back and front square. This is where the actual collar pattern design happens. You can keep the pattern as is, or you can adjust the spread. I personally prefer the collar points to practically meet up at the center front line when the shirt is buttoned. For that, I need to increase the collar angle to up to 135 degrees. In this example, I'm using 120 degrees as that gives a room for error. Then reconnect the new center front line with the rest of the collar. After cutting out the collar pattern, I adjust the collar fall at the center back. As drafted, the collar pattern is interfering with my braid, so I reduced the width at the back to make it more comfortable. Just as with a collar stand, I trace the pattern onto a cardstock, adding pattern markings and notes. Right, we have drafted some very cool collar pattern, but how to adjust it for any sewing project, I hear you ask. Well, I am glad that you ask. It actually is very simple. Just add or remove the necessary lengths for the collar stand at the center back point. You will also need to move the shoulder position to match up with your sewing pattern. This is also how you adjust the length of the collar stand pattern if you're including a button stand, like as you would do for a classic shirt pattern. The collar pattern needs to adjust it only if you're using a different neck circumference, but not if you're adding the button stand extension only. That's because the collar always ends just before or exactly at the center front line. And for this pattern, we drafted the collar to end exactly at the center front line. I will leave the link on how to draft the button stand extension in the description below if your core pattern doesn't have that. The collar pattern doesn't have any seam allowances included because it's a lot easier to adjust the sewing pattern without them. However, you will need to add seam allowances to your collar and collar stand pattern when you're ready to make the garment. You can do it either at the fabric cutting stage or directly on the paper by tracing the pattern and adding the seam allowances. My video tutorial on how to add seam allowances is the one you want to watch next. For written instructions, I will leave the links in the descriptions below. Happy drafting!